Thank you for joining us, Congresswoman On Call. Christina, you know, last time we spoke, it was in the summertime, and that's when we were hearing from a lot of managers from hotels telling us that folks are showing up at their front desk with these fraudulent reservations, and they were realizing these people were being scammed online. They thought they booked a room through the hotel. Come to find out it was a third-party site, and by the time they tried to track it down, that site was pulled down. At that time, you and several other members of Congress had asked the Federal Trade Commission to investigate. They wound up responding with sending out some educational material to both consumers and business travelers. But you wanted to see more done. What happened since then?
Well, good morning, Christina. It is an honor to be with you again. And thank you for your interest in this story, which really is a very important story, not only for the nation, but especially Florida, where we got over almost 100 million visitors last year. So having disappointed visitors is not good for Florida's economy. Here, just imagine this. You work hard, you save up for a vacation. You unknowingly go on to a phony website. You book what you think your dream vacation. You drive or fly hundreds of miles, and you get to the desk of your hotel, your destination, late at night, and you are told that you haven't been heard of, that there's no reservation, or what you booked is not what you think you booked. And that's happening 15 million times a year in this nation, costing us over $1 billion to our economy. So it is a real problem. The FTC has really not given it much attention, and I think in part it's because there's a lot of other fraud going on and they have their hands full, and there's really no easy way to report this kind of fraud to the FTC. So what we're doing, we've done a couple things. Number one, we have asked the FTC in a very nice letter to try to make their webpage a little bit more consumer friendly so people can report these kinds of incidences. But in a bipartisan spirit, we have a number of us, we filed a bill this week that does a couple of things. But most importantly, it gives law enforcement now some extra tools to go after these con artists. It also requests the FTC to really look into this problem in a more deep fashion.
One thing that I thought was interesting is the effort here from this new proposed legislation to really beef up the power on a state level. Can you explain that?
Well, we think it's important not only for the FTC, which, as I said, has its hands full with all kinds of con games that are being played all over this country, but to also give our local law enforcement, our state attorney generals, the same powers that the FTC has in terms of enforcing our legislation and the fraud legislation. So, and that just will mean more hands on deck, and will be especially helpful to some of the states where this has not gotten any attention.
So the Stop Online Booking Scams Act, it would also require disclosure to make sure that these third-party websites are telling folks we're a third-party website. We are not the actual hotel. What happens next?
Well, I think what's important to note is not only is this something that if somebody follows the law and puts that up there, that it will warn a consumer, but even as important, it allows prevention. So it allows law enforcement, it allows actually legitimate hotel and lodging folks who may see this type of illicit advertisement to immediately report it, and then allows the state attorney general or the FTC to take immediate action. So hopefully we can prevent a lot of this, but it does give a consumer another way and another remedy.
All right. Thank you again for joining us on Call Christina, and we will certainly be keeping tabs on how this moves progressing forward.
Thank you, Christina.